Hey, it's Justin, and I want to talk about a technique that I've used to make editing footage to music a lot easier. Now you might find yourself editing to music with really quick hi-hats or ticks in the background like this.
But they call it growing pains cause it hurts. I'm just running towards the future. I don't put it in reverse. I'ma put it in my songs. I'ma write it in the...
That sound in the beat can be really cool if you match your edits up to it, but it can also be a really tedious process if you tackle it the wrong way. So I'm going to show you how to time a lot of really quick edits to the beat without having to spend the rest of your life trying to time up 4,000 separate cuts to a 3-minute song. The important thing to note is that a lot of times with songs, the ticks might go through a pattern and then repeat that pattern. When we find that pattern, it makes everything a lot easier. I know from listening to this song that the hi-hats are on a loop that lasts about 5 seconds, so we can use that to help us. We can start by taking our song and moving it into the timeline. And now let's find the point in the song where the ticks start. So to do that, let's move our mouse to the left of our audio, and then we can scroll with our mouse to make the waveform bigger. It just makes it easier to work with. All right. And then we can use the plus and minus on our keyboard to zoom in and out as well. So let's go ahead and find those ticks.
To the booth when they ask me why I do it, tell them they want to do it if there ain't nothing to lose. Got it all on the line.
All right, so it looks like they start right here.
All on the line.
Right here. So let's put our cursor right where they start. So if I drag my mouse, you can hear kind of a preview of that part of the song playing. So if I drag this forward, you can hear right there, that's where the tick is. You can kind of hear that in the preview. So if I play it, there's the tick. All right, now that we found that, we can start making what I like to call the cookie cutter. Let's make 2 color mats and bring them into the timeline where the ticks start. So I'm going to come over here and click new item, and then I'm going to click color mat, and I'm going to hit OK. And we'll make this one blue. We can just choose whatever color we want. Doesn't really matter. I'll call it blue. All right, and I'm gonna make one more. New item and then color mat. Okay. And I'll make this one like a gray. Sure, and I'll call it gray. All right, let's take both of these. I'll shift click to highlight them both and then drag them into the timeline. Gonna zoom back out with the minus. And let's line these up with the cursor because the cursor is where the ticks start. All right, and I'm gonna make the blue on top, gray on bottom, doesn't matter which. All right, we have both of our color mats in the timeline, so now we can start cutting the mat on top to match the beat. This is the most time-consuming part, but luckily we only have to do this for 5 seconds of the beat since that's when the ticks start repeating. But you'll be doing this for however long the pattern is on the song that you're using until the beat repeats. So to cut this with the beat, I'm going to come over here and click on the razor tool, or you can press C as well to bring up the razor tool. And I'm just going to kind of do what we did before. So I'm going to scrub my cursor along the timeline until I hear those hi-hats. And once I hear one, I'm going to cut. So it sounds like one's right here. So I'm just going to cut the layer right on top there. And I'm going to keep moving down. There's another one, so I'm going to click, make another cut, and I'm going to keep doing this for the entire length until the beat repeats. All right, so once we have everything cut, we can go through and delete every other cut that we made. So we're going to keep this first one. We're going to delete this second one, keep this one, delete, keep, delete. All right, after we've done that, if we've timed our cuts right, it should flash back and forth with the music between our 2 clips. So let's try that out. All right, looks pretty good. Yep. It's important to try to get the timing on this as close to the music as you can get it, because if it's off for this, it's going to be off for the entire song. So after we're happy with all of our edits, let's just go ahead and take this bottom layer right here, drag it to the top. Be careful not to move it left or right. There we go. And then let's highlight everything. We're going to right click and then group. And what that does is it just makes this whole thing easier to grab. So now if I click on any part of this, all of it's going to be highlighted. And so we can use this top layer right here as a handle just to make it easier to move around the timeline. So this is our cookie cutter. So now it's time to bring in our clips for the actual video. So I'm just going to use more color mats to act as our clips. So I'm just going to come over here, color mat. I'll make this one like a red, call it red, and I'll make one more. Make this one like violet. Sure. Looks good. All right, so these are going to act as our footage. I'm just going to highlight both of these by shift clicking and then drag them into the timeline. And I'm going to move one on top of the other. And let's go ahead and to give us more space, because I want to take both of these clips and drag them to the end of the timeline, but you see that our cookie cutter gets in the way. So I'm just going to right click over here on the side and then add track. And you can see that it gives us another video track to work with. So I can drag our cookie cutter up here, out of the way, and then I'll highlight both of these by shift clicking again, zoom out with the minus key, and then I'll drag these all the way to the end of the song. There we go. All right. Now it's time to actually make our edits. Something to know about Premiere is when you take one clip and you move it on top of another clip, it creates a cut to make room for the new clip. We're going to use this to our advantage with our cookie cutter. So what we can do is make sure our cookie cutter is lined up with that first tick in the song. So it looks like it's, let me zoom in a little bit more to make sure that we're accurate. Looks like it's right here. So we'll take our cookie cutter, move it up so it's lined up with that point. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our cookie cutter. Let me zoom out a little bit. Take it, move it straight down. Careful not to move it left or right. Straight down. You can see it cuts that clip that we moved it onto. And then we're going to move it back up. And let's move our cookie cutter out of the way. And you can see that it imprinted these cuts into our clip. Now these cuts, if we timed our cookie cutter right, should be exactly in time with our song. So let's try that out. All right, looks pretty good to me. You know, let me replace this red clip right here with the gray clip, just so it's a little bit easier to see the cuts. There we go. Line this up at the end. Zoom back in. All right. You can see that it's all timed up. Looks pretty good. And what I love about using this cookie cutter is that we can reuse it every single time the beat repeats. So we get to this point right here where the beat is about to repeat. Right there. This is, sounds like the point where it repeats. So we can just take our cookie cutter again, line it up with the cursor. More, there we go. And we're going to move it straight down again and then straight up. So it just cut into our clip again. So now if we listen to the whole thing there. It repeats. And there we go. We have our cuts all lined up. So this is perfect, for instance, if you have a fairly big section of a song that you want to have all of these cuts lined up to, but you don't want to spend all the time cutting each individual cut. This way you only have to do it once for that section until that beat repeats. And then we'll just take our cookie cutter and, you know, make our cuts wherever they fit in the song. And of course, using these colors is just a demonstration. You can cut back and forth between full solid clips, or you can kind of do what I did here and you can have kind of masked clips. So when you cut back and forth between these, kind of looks like there's more than one of them in the same room. So I hope this saves you a lot of time. Let me know if it helped you or if you have any suggestions for a video in the future. And until then, I will see you in the next video.